Alright, my people suffer from a lack of knowledge. Alright, obviously, I have to come on here and say this because no matter how much you try to tell people and show stuff, the witchcraft that has been done on their minds, it goes in through one ear and right out the other. And I'm gonna put it somewhere else on this website, but I just read somebody talking about civil war over immigrants and how this immigrant situation is more serious than these children that are dying. It's literally in their own words that it's more important than a child's life. So let's get back onto this thing of immigrants. And also when I speak to other people, they regurgitate what other people are saying that have to protect their channels and all this of what nature, that everyone's an immigrant. Nah, everyone is not an immigrant. All right. So we're gonna start this one off with how immigrants assume the roles and titles of the royal indigenous. All right. And then excuse my fingernails or whatever because I'm always chopping wood, hunter gatherer type stuff. All right. I'm always doing some work. All right. You know, a man's hands is going to be dirty. All right. So, how immigrants assume the roles and titles of the royal indigenous. All right. And I'm coming from coat of arms. All right. So, let's bring it in. Uh, you can go to the website. You can go to lmrtv.net and go to our Royal Ancient Arms and read this word for word. You can go on the internet and just type in immigrants and how they came to the country of America and how many of them. But I could just read it to you, all right? I got pictures and all that for you. Nice to see and all that. You know what I'm saying? So let's go through it. So right here we have the Barbary slave trade. If you don't know what the Barbary slave trade, it is a slave trade of over 1.25 million Euro Asians, aka Europeans. The actual true slave trade. I don't know why they rather tell you about an African slave trade, but I brought the information to post up there that the alleged African slave trade didn't even come up to the number of the actual Barbary slave trade. Okay. So here we have another brother up on here. I shout him out and everything through the post. So here we have another brother up on here speaking about so that's when you have a lot of white slaves, you know what I'm saying? White slaves over here, over there, then you send them on boats over here, okay? This is beyond me because there's all the information is there on the internet, the pictures are there, all of this. Y'all hear about this Ellis Island type of stuff and all that, but y'all don't. Majority of the people in power and I gotta keep their positions and job titles, they keep lies going. So if we're gonna talk about this immigrant situation, let's get to the core and the source of it. You send them on boats over here and now they want titles. So why did I even come up with this post, right? Because I'm over here doing genealogy research, right? Checking out my indigenous family members, studying surnames throughout years and all that, 1400s and beyond, okay? And I was coming across a lot of names, a lot of my family's surnames, and then I was seeing other individuals that were holding this name. And then I wanted to see how long they were holding the name for. And a lot of the individuals that did not look like me only came upon the actual title by stealing the title because the original birth names and all that holds different surnames. And they say it in their own words and all that. So we're going to just get to it, right? So yeah, you see these boats filled with thousands and millions of people, right? Only one type of people though. We're gonna get to reading it. This is just to drop the truth, you know. A whole bunch in the boats, standing outside the boat, just a lot, a lot. So here the brother man saying they want titles because they're allegedly getting out of slavery, right? So and then here you hear him say, or you see him saying, so they take the titles of the indigenous. They're coming together of opposite gods, right? Then you also see the independent Sultanate of Morocco. So some of this parts I'm gonna go over because I'm getting specifically to the immigrants. You can come to the page once again, lmrtv.net, and go to our Royal Ancient Arms, right? And then you can come to the title that shows you right here how immigrants assume the roles and titles of the royal indigenous. I found it because I'm looking for my, I'm doing my genealogy research, and I contacted the Bureau of Indian Affairs to enter my family's surname in there. I got the letters and all that, and they started saying some nonsense. So I had to dig even deeper. They want you to get exact years and exact this, exact that. So I did all of that, and they still was on a BS. One of the ladies was telling me, "Oh, why don't you check out the Choctaw?" I know why she said the Choctaw stuff, but I was when I was doing it, I was doing for the Cherokee Nation, because in the Cherokee Nation they got one of the oldest settlements in Tennessee, which Tennessee got its name from Tanazi, and Tanazi derives from Tunis. So that is a very very old area over there. Also, they're one of the last Cherokee leaders, Ramadan Aben Wati. He's a Muslim. He looks just like me and all that. So, long story short, for me to go through it, if I bring out my family, it'll be it's Moors. But if you want to get into this Native American terminology, it's going to be Seminoles, Choctaw, Cherokee, Tunica, and the list goes on. Tunics. The list is going to keep going on. So you could read this exact story right here on the page. I'm going to skip through it, because this isn't my actual what I'm trying to get to, Karankawa Nation. All right, you could go read it for yourself. Check out the War of 1812, all of that, right? You can go and read this one for yourself if you're interested. And it's about Texas and all that, and about a native maid, okay? And it talks about how this lady, the wife hijacked their Aboriginal title, took the land, took all the benefits and all that. So you could go see that yourself. I'm gonna keep going on here, right? Let's keep going. Oh, the War of 1812 again. The reason that keeps coming up because on another channel or on another post, I brought up about the thousands, over 10,000 pages of my family's surname in the War of 1812, a civil war in America. And this exact stuff, I wasn't up on it. I wasn't enlightened on it, so I had to enlighten myself. Sometimes they put our focus. Your enemy will put your focus where it shouldn't be. The magician will put your focus where it shouldn't be in order to trick you with their other hand. All right. So let's keep going through here. This isn't my exact subject matter. All right. It's all making sense. So European slaves were acquired by Barbary pirates. Go study and research who Barbary pirates are. They're the same ones they call barbarians. All right. Algiers is located near the mouth. And when we talk about Algiers, we're talking about Louisiana Algiers, the Crescent City. All right. Slaves, which are also Slavs, SLAV, with the S on there without the E, Slavs, were coming before they go to New Orleans. They had to go through Algiers. All right, so this one's a drawing. The other ones are actual pictures. So they had to go through Algiers, and then they got ferried off. We're still talking about how the indigenous, or the immigrants, stole the titles of the royal indigenous. All right, so that's them getting on an ark. Okay, 1800, 1880, even though that's a drawing. So let's read this here. You can go into any one of your search engines and type this up: European immigration to the Americas. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying. I'm just bringing out some information that you might need to keep your eye on. European immigration to the Americas. European immigration to the Americas. Once again, European immigration to the Americas. Okay. Another post that brings all this information out is how the Powhatan became Confederate. All right. That would be on the video section on lmrtv.net. So let's read it. European immigration to the Americas was one of the largest migratory movements in human history. One of the largest migratory movements in human history. I'll read it again. One of the largest migratory movements in the whole of human history, which is his story and not my story, because my story is no longer a mystery. You got me? Between the years 1492, when they allegedly say the Moors lost power, right? So between the years 1492 and 1930, more than 60 million Europeans immigrated to the American continent. More than 60 million Europeans immigrated to the American continent. Let's read that again. More than 60 million Europeans immigrated to the American continent. Between 1492 and 1820, so now the years is different between 1930. So between 1492 and 1820, approximately 2.6 million Europeans immigrated to the Americas, of whom just under 50% were brutish. I can't say brutish because that represents the Moors. So we're going to let them say were British. Others were 40% were Spanish or Spaniard, if you really want to say it, or Portuguese. 6% were Swiss or German, and 5% were French or Franciscan, if you want to say it. But it was in the 19th century and in the first half of the 20th century that the European immigration to the Americas reached its historic peak. Never before in human history have so many people immigrated to another continent. Let's read that. Never before in human history have so many people immigrated to another continent. So, in their own words, never before in human history have so many people immigrated to another continent. Between 1815 and 1930, 60 million euro. There's more than that, but hey, we're going, whatever. We're going to stick with these numbers. 60 million Europeans immigrated, out of which 71% went to North America and 21% to Latin America. Okay? You can come here yourself and check it out. I got a whole lot of wood to cut later in a second, but hold up. This was on my mind and all that because I'll be feeling like I do the work and then I got to keep doing more of the work because our people, all our people, we the people, we're just not getting it. And then for people to start saying a child's life doesn't matter more than this immigration laws, nah, bruh. European immigration to the Americas was one of the largest migratory movements in human history. Between the years 1492 and 1930, more than 60 million Europeans immigrated to the American continent. Between 1492 and 1820, approximately 2.6 million Europeans immigrated. What did the Europeans do? They immigrated to the Americas, okay, of whom just under 50%. So we're going to skip past that because that's a redrawn. So this one is a drawing right here. This one is a drawing too. An artist depicting what was going on. Look, that's how we was talking about that Ellis Island stuff. Oh, yeah. So another thing to ask you was who was on the land before they got to this land? this Muslim Jerusalem land, which can be located in the video section under the Moor who discovered America. Who was on this land? Who was on all the lands, right? Because these people that were on these lands are the same people in all of the lands across every continent that starts with the A, because all the actual continents only start with the letter A. Okay, the real continents only start with the letter A. Go look it up. So these two are drawings, paintings, what have you not. They're not actual pictures, right? So, therefore, European immigrants of this period can be divided into two groups: those who arrived free and those who were subject to some form of contractual work or obligation. Now, mind you, if they weren't European, they would just say slave. But because it's European, you got to make it sound good. You got to set for marketing purposes, like you want to put brand purposes, you got to say, they were subject to some form of contractual work obligation. Of the latter, and of the latter means of the last part. So they were subject to some form of contractual work or obligation, in latest terms, a slave, right? Of the latter, the vast majority were indentured servants. So this is the nice way of saying it. Were indentured servants. If they would have studied or taught us all of this stuff in school, but instead they teach us the lie, and they don't tell us that we actually came from this land, the actual Aboriginal indigenous, the Moors and all that, the Moors who were here on the land way before the Native Americans, the same Moors that you call Nagamaya, the Olmec civilization in Mexico, how Sierra Leone, the first Sierra Leone was Nueve Leon, and how they still got a Liberia right there in South America. What does that mean? That you're pre-Columbian, pre-colonial, pre-European, pre-this, pre-Mesoamerican, pre-that. You've been on the land, B. Stop playing. Anyway, so of the latter, the vast majority were indentured servants. British engages French and redemptors, Germans, so redemptors, you're going to see it, who added up to about 500,000 immigrants. 500,000 immigrants between 1500 and 1800. Convicts and political prisoners contributed another 129,000 immigrants. So basically, when they were coming to these lands, they were very bad people. Very, 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 very bad people. Very, very bad people, right? In addition, we're not going to say all of them was bad, but in their own terms, they're telling you who they were and what happened when they came to this land, too. The great massacre of the actual people that were on the land, right? So anyway, in addition, there were an undetermined number of men and women who were serfs, which they want to call Spanish servants. You might as well call them Slavs, like I said, Slavs, Slav. Go look it up. In the service of civil servant, priest, or gentleman, but who might have been relatively high social standing. This indenture right here. So I want to say that was Germantown, because I have surname family members that name is in Germantown of Philadelphia as settlers. I got them in other places too, obviously. I did posts on the surname taking up every state of the United States of America, or Al Morocco, or Tamari, whatever you truly want to call it, right? So right here is another painting. Yeah, this one is a drawing right here. But this one is an actual picture. These two are actual pictures, as you can see. Mad people, right? Boat filled up. And then out of the boat, let's close it back. Out of the boat, filled up, right? You could go look this stuff up yourself, man. Stop playing. You could, if you think that I'm bringing any type of other energy besides enlightening you, go check it out for yourself. And right now we're in times where they're talking about immigrant this, immigrant that, and so many mixed people saying this, and that. So let's, let's bring it up, because I did the post. This is 2023. The post was up. So anyway, look, this is an actual picture. As far as the eye can see, right? Boats filled and people outside of it too, right? Now this one is a drawing, a painting, okay? All right. So obviously, this is one thing, right? So I'm looking up family surnames, and even right here, as you can see, you see a Abraham Túnez, which is a Tunis. It's just he didn't know how to. He only heard the name. He didn't know how to actually spell it right. And this I'm gonna prove to you by the actual spelling of all of his children. So Abraham Túnez, which is really Tunis, Tunes, and then again here, this is 1600s. Again here, Abraham Tunis with the Tunis, 1733, right? So why am I talking about that? Okay, this is a whole, you know what I'm saying, coat of arms drawn with books and all that. Some of us read, all right? Long story short, so this is one of the settlers of Germantown, Philadelphia, right? So let's skip on. So let's look at the family line, right? Spouses and children. So here, he only heard the name because remember, this is immigrants who assumed the roles of the royal indigenous, okay? Royal indigenous, royal. You come from a royal bloodline, right? So Abraham Tunis, which is actually Tunis, is supposed to be Tunis. Why? Because he didn't spell it right. He ain't spell it right. So when they got over here, fully over here on the land and other stuff, he got it right with the children, right? So as you can see, all of the children have the Tunis. His is Tunes only because, you know, when they write the documents and the birth, when you're birthing in the doc and all that, birth certificates and all that, you know, birthing, doc, all of that as cargo, all of that type of stuff, right? So all of the children's names down the line is Tunis. Only one of them spelled theirs wrong. Again, to attribute of up here Tunes, and then even spelled it behind it wrong, tennis, Tennis, when it was really Tunis. Okay, all right, right here you can see for yourself, right? Canaanites, yep, Hebrew, Arabic, Arena, yeah, Moabite. If y'all know who you are, American Indian, because this same Tunis name is, you can find black Confederates with it, which I ain't gonna call them black Confederates. I'm just gonna call them Confederates. You can find American Indians holding the same name. You can find the Royal Holy African holding the same name. You can find the Canaanites holding the same name. You can find the ancient Moabites holding the same name. You can find the Hebrew Arabics with the same name, the Mende and all that holding the same surname. So let's get to it. So when I said that most of them or all of them that didn't look like me, they stole this name. So Abraham Tunis, alias Abraham Clinton. Let's read in his own words, their own words, right? And then even right here is Abraham Tunes with the Tunes was born in Prussia, Germany as Abraham Clinton. He and his wife Beatrix Botesin Lucken were one of the original 13 families who were settlers of Germantown. He took his father Anthemius Clinton's anglicized first name Thonis and made his last name Tunes, which was really Tunis. All 5 of the children's births are recorded. Okay, so, and mind you, if you remember, all 5 of their children's births are recorded. So let's come back up to that. They're recorded as Tunis, Tunis. It's just that, you know, like a lot of these names of states and all that, they didn't really know how to pronounce when natives was coming up to them and saying the name. So they pronounced it how they wanted to pronounce it, wrote it down how they wanted to write it down. Okay. So in here you see Tunes, which is really Tunis, derives back down to Towner. It derives back down in Swedish to Tuner. In North German, it derives back to Tuner, which really will become down to Turner. All right. So let's keep going. So this is false because it's talking about the Tunis family. There weren't even Tunises, but they want to have it in history. All because when you find out who you are and you start looking for your family members, a lot of they got something called the reconstruction, where all of the indigenous people who are Mende or dark skinned, the information was turned and switched to Europeans. And this you find all the truth here. So once again, Abraham Tunes, why don't you say the Tunes family? You said the Tunis family when he didn't even spell it right his first time around, all right? He put it Tunes, but you're saying the whole family is the Tunis family. So they aren't really the Tunis family. They just stole the royal indigenous name, okay? But yet they're able to hold Native American rights, and the actual Tunis that look dark skinned, they give you a hard time for you to hold your benefits of being pre-colonial, pre-Columbian, and American Indian. It's very interesting. It's very intriguing. All right. You can go read all this yourself. You know what I mean? Us scholars are doing the work. It's just y'all minds be focused on other stuff, focus on the games and just nonsense. So once again, he made up his name. All right, he broke up his father's name allegedly, but really he took the last name of a royal indigenous, coming to a land where they're taking away the rights from people and stealing the land from people. You're going to want to sound royal and indigenous, right? You want to start a new life, so they took a royal name, okay? They took a royal name. Look, they took a royal name, all right? No games. You can go read it for yourself, my G. My brother, man, or my brother from another mother, George Carlin on Time, because this was going with something I was talking about in the post. Time. Go check that out. It's type funny. Time? What is time? So anyway, here you have Tunis Hood, a grandfather in the 1700s, and then a Minnie May Hood, which is the grandmother of Elvis Presley. All right, and then you have Jimi Hendrix over here, the king of rock, the first father of rock, and then there was a imitator who became Elvis Presley, who was grafted after Jimi Hendrix. Is that the exact word too? Grafted. Interesting. Is that what they call it? Grafting. So grafting, yeah, grafted. So this is another scholar who was checking out into the Hood family and saying how there was inconsistencies and things. Some of the same stuff I was finding out with the Tunis stuff, how they were mixing it up. And I had to learn about Reconstruction and the darters of the American Revolution and all that, how they hated who they were with because they were concubines and they were what you would call sex workers. And when they came out of it, they took a history away from people. So once again, this is supposed to be Tunis, right? But they spelled it wrong. You know how they do. But you can see the derivations. So anyway, with this Tunis, there's many people that are related, right? They want to say, right? But one of them that was interesting was Beyonce Knowles Carter, all right? So lo and behold, she happens to be inside my family tree, and I ain't even know it. She's a beautiful singer. Jay-Z, he be spitting. You know what I'm saying? He be telling y'all about 3/5 of a man. And Beyonce, recently I heard you have a song while I was driving in a truck. I was doing my trucking. And I heard you bring out a song recently. And I really, it sounded like you had one of my relatives in there that holds the Tunica Tunis name. She's a queen, right? Princess from Louisiana as well. So hmm. And mind you, I was going up there in the music world until I learned the truth and all the nonsense they be trying to do. So I had to step up out the music world and just focus on family, real life, and land. Like real stuff. But check it out. Music is good for your soul if it's good music. All right. So we got two different Tunis's hoods, right? The two Tunis and then the Theunis. So mind you, people are gonna spell it how they think, how they hear it. They're gonna spell it a certain way, but this is the correct Tunis spelling. All right. Jimi Hendrix. All right. So we're gonna bring this down real quick, right? So right here, I'll read it for you if you can't see it all the way. Let me see. Bring it up. So our land. The Turner royal family surname Tunica is derived from Tunis. For example, Turner equals Tunica equals Tunis equals Tennessee. The reason they're saying Tennessee because it comes from Tanazi. Once again, I brought that out on other posts. You could go on the website and check it out, or one day, if you ask me, I'll just bring it back out on a video. So Tunis is a Muslim country in North Africa that was established, but really there's more Tunis names here in America than there is in Africa. If you're a scholar, you know what's up. So Tunis is a Muslim country in North Africa that was established by the Carthaginians. The Carthaginians, the same ones they call the Spartans, were a branch of the Phoenicians. Tennessee was Tunis. So you could check out this brother man's post that did a great job right here. You could type it in. America is the Old World. I got both of his books. I'm waiting on the next book. He went in up on there. I suggest you read it too. So Tunisia, a once healthy port city, is famous for having one of the sites of the ancient Phoenician civilization and was a premier destination for travelers heading to Carthage, Tennessee. North America has 15 Carthage place names, which suggests that Grand Tunis and Grand Phoenicia were in the Americas. But I did my own study on it, and I brought out the post, which is here inside the same section, called Tunis America. Yo, they found the name numerous times in each state, all over. I'm like, what? When you go across land, you're going to name the land after your name, right? So your family down the line can know what's up, right? The same way we have pyramids, same way we have statues and other things of this nature. So right here, I was going down the family line of the Tunises. It's starting from the 1800s in New Jersey alone. All right, and it has the whole family lineage right there. So right here, I found the Tunis in the census dated as Native Americans right here. Okay, and I seen the falsifying of they were everybody that was in one region of a census. You know, it didn't matter what color you were; they were calling you white. But one thing they did do was they also listed the Native Americans, the native, right? And this is New Jersey, mind you. And we're talking about the Tunises, and they're listed as Native American. All right, and this is a census from back in the 1800s that I found. You know, I had to do real deep searching because when you try to speak with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, our people have a very hard time because they have a lot of people in there that are holding false titles. And when you come with your actual true title, they try to like, oh, you got to bring up this information. You got like, wait, hold up, what? We're the ones that hold the actual title, but all right, I'll bring more information up. Do you still get the benefits and all that? No. No. You can send in your paperwork. They just gotta abide by, you know. They're the ones doing they're the ones marking green if it's a go for you and red if it's not a go for you. So if they want to control a false agenda, they're going to do that. All the information is there on how the Powhatan became Confederate. They got doctors in there that was falsifying birth certificates, falsifying censuses, all of that stuff. So here's Turner. I got this in another post on our Royal Ancient Arms, how it speaks about they had another piece of trivia is that during the American Civil War, Turner was a common name among African American soldiers who fought for the Union. But the funny thing is, you find thousands, I'm telling you, thousands of surnames Tunis, because at one point Tunis was changed to Turner in here. Okay, as you can see, I got it all in there. You know what I'm saying? It's all there. It's all there. Because that's the interesting that but they won't tell you that there's a bunch of Tunises in the Americans. This is how you find the truth. They ain't gonna tell you, oh, there's thousands of Tunises that were in the American Civil War. But what they will tell you is there's thousands of Turners in the American Civil War that are African American. Mind you, I'm looking for family. And I don't. How did I know about it? Because peace to the Muya Fasui, peace to the ancestors. Because I'm following the ancestors. I'm listening to the ancestors. So obviously I'm going to come upon godly information. So I'm going to learn, if I'm following family members and following the footprints in the sand, I'm going to be coming across them wherever they're at. So this is how I found them and all that. You see, like through it. And the funny thing is, this talks about the turner in Australia and Canada and all other places. For the Tunis, it says just that same stuff. It has Australia all around, man, all around. So we ain't coming from no games here. All right, no games. All right, so you can go and check out this post. This is Femi Turner in Sierra Leone, Freetown. That's a road. You could check this all out for yourself. It's saying 10 place names in the world named Tunis. There's a whole lot more than that. They want to only give you Tunis, Virginia, Tunis, Texas, Tunis, North Carolina, Tunis, New Mexico, Tunis, Montana, Tunis, Michigan, Tunis, Maryland, Tunis, Arkansas, Tunis of Tunis, and Tunis Suhaj in Egypt. Man, I brought out way more. So my scholarship goes way deeper, way harder. I treat women and my information the same. I love to dig deeper, okay? Go way hard, go way deeper. So this is a creek. Yeah, I'm just going through this. Because mind you, this post is about how immigrants stole or assumed the titles of the royal indigenous. This stuff is hidden in plain sight right in front of your face. Y'all gotta wake up, man. That's how I know they doing too many spells on it. So this is talking about how about half of the American states owe their names to Native American. No, all of the states. And they owe it to actual Moors, okay? This is all in the post. You can read for yourself. I'll just read a little bit. Yeah. So about half of America's states owe their names to Native American origin. All right. Here's how each state got its name. All right. Another influence from the earliest time in our history is Native American. All right. They want to talk strange names. It ain't strange to us. It's strange to who? If you're an immigrant coming over here, the name is going to be strange. If I go to the country where you're at, or if I go to another country that I haven't been to or whatever, and I see different type of names, that's going to be strange and obscure to me too. So you're going to come over to here to our land and say our names is strange. All right. But yet our names is still inside the states, still on the streets, still in the roads, all of that. You ain't think we was going, you talking about we ain't going to know who we are. What you mean? What you mean we ain't gonna know who we are? Native people who inhabited those areas before the arrival of Euro-Asians, aka Europeans. So sometimes it baffles me that I be having to put this out. And mind you, my channels don't get no millions of views and all that. So who gets the information is who gets the information. Those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, that's who's gonna get the information, man. Tunisburg, I brought out the information. There's Tunis and Tunisburg are rivers or land. So on one side of the land is Tunis, and there's a river that separates it, and on the other side of that land and the river is Tunisburg. That's how close they were. So Tunis and Tunisburg, and this is New Orleans, which is also Algiers, the Crescent City. You can go do your own research and look it up. I did it. If you want to see for, you can come to this page and read it for yourself and really check it out. Nobody's playing games here, B. This is when I first put it as Baron della Marina de Tunis, because I was putting it exactly how I seen it written on these coat of arms. You know what I'm saying? I was putting it exactly how I seen it. But then I had to do deeper research into it to find out, like, it's actually Baronet. All right, like the way when they want to hide this stuff, they go and put a whole bunch of different lies in there for you to miss it. All right, so look, I was putting it how I seen it, right? Yeah, it had it as Baron della Marina de Tunis in the Coat of Armstrong, right? But it was really Baronet. I fixed this up in another post. You could check and see for yourself. This post was brought to you by an unincorporated Aboriginal Tribal Association. Many roots, one famble, coat of arms, a record of time. Stick around. You don't want to miss what's next. My people suffer from a lack of knowledge. I'm telling you, it spells because even when you try to tell them, they don't want to hear. But once again, this post was how the immigrants assumed the roles and titles of the royal indigenous that held title, freehold title, allodial title to the land and still do. Over and out.